Hey guys, it's Money Man. Sorry I haven't uploaded in a while. I've been busy with real life stuff, but I've got a new video here detailing all the mechanics and techniques I've learned with the dual blades. There's some new things in here that you probably haven't seen in any other video, and I'm happy to share them with you. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the dual blades have a 3-hit combo, as you're likely aware. The first 2 hits will do 50 damage each hit. The second hit will do 2 hits of 60 damage, and then the final hit will only do a single hit of 65 damage. So the third attack is kind of lackluster, and it's really only used when you want to keep a combo going, or if you really need that little bit of extra damage that a quick melee won't give you. For lights, it's really just 2 swings. The first 2 swings, if you hit with all of them, you will kill them. There isn't really a quick melee option to kill them faster. So over here, we've got a medium. Mediums take 2 swings and a quick melee. If you hit with all 4 of the first 2 swings and a quick melee, it will kill the medium. I should note that there is a weird bug going on with the blades. I'm not sure what causes it, but occasionally you'll do just a slightly less damage than you should. It's very rare that it happens, but it does happen, and I don't know what triggers it, so just keep that in mind. Now we'll go into heavies. For heavies, it usually takes a 4-hit combo to secure a kill, and this third swing is really slow and sluggish. But we can actually speed up our time to kill by, instead of going for the whole 4-hit combo with that third swing, do the first 2 hits and then do a melee cancel. This will skip that third swing and go immediately back to the first swing, which does more damage, and it's actually faster for killing the heavy. So I do recommend using this technique against heavies if you can. Take note that the swords have a decent amount of range on them. At about 2 meters, they will hit their target. Just maybe a little bit over 2 meters, 2.5 meters or so. They will hit their target. So just keep that in mind. There is a lot of range. It's deceptive because the blades don't look that long, but they actually do reach out to a fair bit. Alright, so now we're going to get into a fundamental mechanic of the dual blades, and it's something that you really have to master. So, if you are within 4 meters of a target, and you are moving forward and looking at them in their general direction, and you initiate an attack, you will get a speed boost that will home in on the target and burst forward in like a dash. This is buffed in Season 5. The dual blades got increased speed and duration of this lunge mechanic to allow them to catch up to targets moving away. One of the implications of this is that we want to make sure our attacks are precise. If we just go in and attack and we spam, and we're not looking at our target, we're not going to get that speed boost. It's better to stay on target, wait a second if you have to, if they're really mobile, and make sure you can get that lunge. That boost is definitely going to be critical for you to secure kills, and it's actually going to open up a new technique I discovered, which I'll go into now. Alright, so next we're going to go into the slide lunge. So we get this forward momentum when we're sliding or when we're lunging, but we can actually extend it further with a lunge slide. You see there, I did a lunge and I immediately slid. This allows you to catch up to targets. You just have to make sure you actually are on target, click on them, and then you initiate a slide immediately. This forward momentum will carry you very far, and if you do it almost frame perfect, you can really go far. And you can also add a jump at the right time to extend it even further, if you want to. You don't have to do it every time, but sometimes you can add a jump to extend it even further and carry that forward momentum. So this is a very useful technique. It allows you to be highly mobile, catch up to targets. It's like having your own little mini evasive dash. It only works, of course, if you're 4 meters and you're looking at a target and you have to be sprinting. You can do follow-ups if you time things correctly. Now, see, I'm not doing it quite right. You got to click first. You got to make sure you're on target and you click on them first before you initiate the slide. Otherwise, you won't get that forward momentum. Just a quick side note, I know this is a dual blades video, but I wanted to point out that this lunge slide technique actually works with other weapons as well. I don't know if I haven't really seen any other weapon videos. Maybe someone's already discovered this, but Yeah, you can use it on the sledgehammer too. Can't use it on the spear, but yeah, it's a useful technique for all melee weapons. One other technique I want to briefly cover before I get into the deflect mechanics is gadget swapping. So you can actually gadget swap to bypass that very slow third hit. Another useful technique is, if you pressed a bunch of buttons and you're still swinging, and then all of a sudden, say that's a light and I'm trying to hit him. Oh, he evasive dashed away. Now I can't get him, and he's about to turn around and nuke me with an Uzi or something. So if I'm swinging, I can actually just gadget swap quickly, and then it'll cancel the swing, and I can put my guard up. This is very useful, and if you want to get really good at it, then as you're swinging, you can try to dodge that third hit, which is really slow. So yeah, I just wanted to briefly cover that. Very useful technique. I like the dematerializer, but you can use any gadget you want that is reliable. All right, so now we're going to get into the deflect mechanic. So with the deflect, there's a lot of nuance to it. It's very simple, but a lot of people don't understand how it works. So if you imagine my crosshair, I might put a video overlay to show it. Imagine there's a circle around it, like a big circle. And when I am aiming at a target within that range and a bullet comes to it, I will deflect that bullet. So he's going to turn around and shoot me. Now, you take 10% of the damage of whatever was shooting you, so you take way less damage than normal, but the bullets you reflect back are 100% accurate. Or, sorry, 100% damage. Now, in terms of accuracy, Season 5 buffed the deflect in multiple ways. The inner zone, where you get a good deflect, was increased, as well as you take less damage. It's only 10% of the damage now. As for if you're outside the zone, like say I'm aiming over here, I'm going to get what's called a glancing shot. So I'm going to take way more damage than if I'm actually aiming at the target. It's called a glancing shot. You take, I think, 35% damage. So when we're aiming at a target that's pretty far away, imagine that circle's there. Well, it's covering most of him, so the bullets are going to be easily reflected back. I'll want to aim center mass to hit him, because that's going to give the most area for the weapon, or for the bullet that's going to get reflected back with some dispersion on it. But a common mistake people make, and a technique I discovered, is as you get closer, your circle is now covering less of less of an area. Now it's only covering this area. If I get really close, and I'm going to get shot, a lot of players get shot because they don't realize the bullets are coming out of the opponent's head. If I aim at the head, even if I'm right up close to them, if I'm aiming at the head, I will reflect the bullets. So this is something that's very important, because a lot of people, their common tactic was they would just rush up to the dual blade user and nuke them. But if you know to aim at the head, this is no longer a problem. It might be a little bit difficult to look at them as they're moving around, but if you do aim at the head, you will reflect all of the bullets. And this is a critical technique. When I found this out, it completely changed how aggressive I could be with the blades, how easily I was countering people, because they would try the old, when the blades were first launched, they would do the old, oh, just run up to them and gun them down. They can't deflect. Well, as it turns out, yes, you can deflect, even if you're right up there. Alright, I have some gameplay footage with my friend Rain Takaisha. We're going to go over some of the experiments we did just to show you how effective the deflect mechanic is and what it looks like. And one more thing, there's another option. I can't really show it with him, but if you crouch, it also lowers your hitbox, and it seems to have an effect where it will reflect the bullets back. I'll show a clip of that as well. Alright, now I'm like right up close. Try again. Yeah. So if you get too close...
Oh, damn!
Let me heal first.
You're almost dead. Yeah.
Now try again.
Taking damage.
No way, that works.
You gotta be as close as you was before. Yeah. Ah!
Oh my god, it actually works.
Looked out because of smokers.
So if I'm really close... Oh, I have to aim at like the tippy top of your head. Okay, that makes sense. I have to aim at the tippy top of your head if I'm up close. Yeah, it still works. Shotguns appear to be bugged because they only reflect one pellet. Not sure why. Occasionally, I'd randomly reflect a bunch more pellets, but I can't quite find out how exactly it works. But it doesn't block the claw.
Come closer.
Oh, but it does deflect. It does deflect a melee hit after a claw. That's good to know.
Yeah, nice.
I wanted to quickly debunk something that I read on this wiki. It says, if a ranged attack is blocked, it will be reflected. The reflected projectile always looks and acts the same, meaning that a reflected throwing knife will not be affected by gravity. That is not the case. I tested throwing knives from long range. I don't have the clip because the recorder didn't work. But basically, throwing a long range knife, you're going to reflect a knife and it will take time and it will have a bullet drop. It'll drop on the ground. It says the reflected projectile uses hit scan. I'm not sure about this. I think maybe they just miswrote this, but no, when a reflected projectile is the actual projectile. So if it's a hit scan weapon, obviously it's hit scan. But if it's just like a throwing knife or a bow, it will be reflected back as a projectile with the same velocity and bullet drop. So I just wanted to clarify that. All right, so this comes to the last part of the video. I wanted to cover the slide block. So when you are blocking, you can't really sprint and you're kind of slowed, but you can actually do a slide block. And you can even add a jump to carry yourself further. So that's what a slide block looks like. Very simple. You just put your block up. If you're holding a block, you quickly let go of your block, shift a W forward, and then slide with control. You got to do it like really fast if you want to go right out of block. It's a useful tip. The last thing I want to talk about is fighting melee weapons. So your deflect will block melee weapons and do only 25% of the damage that they normally do. So what you can do is if you're fighting someone, depending on what melee weapon they're using, you can block a hit, get a hit in, block another hit, get a hit in, get a hit in, block. You can use this dance to try and out DPS them. Spears will fuck you up pretty hard, so I wouldn't recommend that. And then, riot shields is kind of a 50-50. They have higher DPS than you, but if you can deflect their hits and attack and use your spacing, you can still win. And don't forget you have your lunge attack. So if you want to be mobile, you can do that. Anyways, I think that covers everything I wanted to cover. I wanted just the basics of the advanced techniques I learned for the mechanics of the weapon and how to actually use the weapons versus generic advice about gadgets and team loadouts and general playstyle. I just wanted raw, mechanics. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Shout out to Rain Takaisha for helping me get some information and experiment and test these weapons. He has a Twitch channel that I'll link in the description. Be sure to go check him out. He plays games all the time. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that crap. Thank you very much.